The Parliamentary Oversight Committee says that it is concerned over delays in the completion of the Sarah Baartman Centre of Remembrance in Hankey in the Eastern Cape. The centre remains nowhere near completion, and this despite 10 years of construction. And on top of that 10 years, it has already spent 247 million rand on the centre since April of 2014, but construction at this point remains only 37% complete. Now, the Centre of Remembrance was built in honour of documenting the life of Sarah Baartman, as well as the heritage of the Khoi-San people, as well as coloured communities. But to talk to us more about this matter, we're joined virtually by the chairperson of the Portfolio Committee on Sports, Arts and Culture, Mr. McGluwa. Thanks so much for your time this morning, and welcome to Morning Live, Mr. McGluwa.
Good morning, Sakina, and good morning to all the listeners.
So more than 10 years after construction started on the Sarah Baartman Centre of Remembrance, and with more than 247 million already pumped into the facility, we hear that it's only 37% complete. Let's first get your reaction to what has happened so far.
Well, Sakina, what the Sarah Baartman development is concerned, as I used to call it, for me is actually a monumental disgrace. It is a monumental disaster. It is very unfortunate that the people of Hankey has been treated in this fashion. Now, as the Portfolio Committee for Sport, Arts and Culture, our main objective and core business is to engage in oversight and towards the entities and also the Department of Sports, Arts and Culture. And we have also adopted a no-nonsense attitude. Doesn't matter who is involved and where it is, but we are actually adopt a hashtag follow the money approach. And we have decided we have numerous problems in the Department of Sports, Arts and Culture when it comes to these kind of contracts and developments. It is not only museums and libraries, but it's also infrastructure of this nature. And in this particular case, the Portfolio Committee, Sport, Arts and Culture has decided to, in its oversight role, to go and see for themselves and ask the department what is actually transpiring here. It is actually so sad when we arrive also at the premises to note that the project is under 50% in completion. But we've also found that it has now become a trend. I mean, since 2014, this project was supposed to be completed in 2016. But for me, there is an outright, negligence and a lack of oversight and monitoring from the Department of Sports, Arts and Culture, who is sponsoring this project. We also are concerned as the Portfolio Committee that there are too many entities involved, and this actually, leave a gap for corruption. It leaves a gap for fruitless expenditure. And we must emphasize that we are not happy of what we have heard when we visit this premises.
And I'm curious to know, Mr. McGluwa, what it is exactly that you heard, because 10 years, you mentioned the word oversight at least twice in that first response. So where was the oversight? Why did it take 10 years to get to this point where we say it is unacceptable?
Well, so many entities here is responsible and must explain on what is transpired. When we arrive at the premises, we have been told so many reasons, of one which COVID has become a norm amongst the department managers as an excuse for not completion. This project was supposed to be done in 2016. It has been extended from 160 million rand to 240 million rand. And the reasons that has been given was shoddy work, Other reasons such as they could not pay the contractors. And you must note that it is the Department Sports, Arts and Culture, it is the Department of Public Works and Infrastructure, and then also the DBSA, the Development Bank of South Africa, who is a governmental institution. And also, blame is put to the DBSA, who could not pay the contractors. I mean, if you have a budget, Sakina, there is just no way that you can have this kind of overspend when it comes to this kind of budget. We visited the place. Instead, we believe that that place could have been developed in stages. It was a bitter experience to arrive at the tombstone of Sarah Baartman, which has been removed without the permission of the entire community. This is supposed to be a place of remembrance. We have also made a clarion call to both the minister, DPWI, and even to the South African Heritage Resource Council. We have made a clarion call to say, please engage with the community of Hankey, because we have lost an opportunity here. But it is a growing concern that contractors has been utilized from Gauteng, and that is the tendency, what is happening within the department. We have state-of-the-art facilities in what we call Makanda, the former Grahamstown, which has been done by a local project management, which has been done by a local architect. But the rest of the development in Sarah Baartman has been from outsiders. No local people has been utilized. Instead, one of the reasons also mentioned was because of a strike of the people of Hankey. They should have done this. It was their right to do this because no local people has been utilized to be involved in this particular contract. They mentioned taxi strikes. There is also a road, the entrance road that was supposed to be done. It was not done. Imagine, Sakina, if we could have complete this project, the benefit that this project could have given to South Africans. And also we say the local empowerment, we could have boosted instead this project. And as the committee, we have recommend serious recommendations. That one, because what we are facing here is consequence management. And I think we can only have and get this project right if we deal with the consequence management. There's also a tendency of ministers currently that, that is newly appointed by the president. Yes, we respect that. We take note of that. But ministers must take full responsibility of their department, because I used to say in the portfolio committees that you have, have received this department foot stewards. So deal with the issues here. Deal with it, even if those individuals are not with us anymore. We can deal with those individuals. As a result, we will then deal with the problems. They are using, Sakina, 2 million rand. 2 million rand for consultants. That's one of my favorite places during my oversight in the Eastern Cape. It's called Sandton-on-Sea. It's a very small municipality. They have not used any consultant. They have shown this country that it can be done. They have utilized local SMMEs. They have utilized the community. They have spent so much money, and when we were so satisfied, but we cannot say the same of the Sarah Baartman project that was supposed to be done long time ago. DBSA called meetings. No one is turning up. During our oversight, I think what is worth and what is actually of grave concern was that the DG did not even pitch for that particular meeting. We also, as a collective, decided that, listen, you two ministers, the Department of Sport, Arts and Culture, and the Department Public Works and Infrastructure, you must come together, get your act in order, And we say we want to hear how best are we going to address this problem.
Yeah, and that's all good and well moving forward. But this project, the tender was awarded in 2014, Mr. McGluwa, and it was meant to be completed in 2016. The initial cost was 164.4 million that was budgeted for the Centre of Remembrance. And now we're talking about COVID. There was no COVID in 2016. So what was the reason for the project not being completed in 2016? Who was responsible? Where was the oversight? And what are you going to do now to hold people accountable?
Well, obviously, some of the other reasons was the termination of contracts. It was also the fact that appointments of art and coordinators, that was supposed to be on site, their cost that has escalated. And also a very interesting one, Sakina, is the fact that they gave a reason of some of the delays was because of poor quality. But we actually caught the department out. When we asked a question, how do you deal with payments? And they themselves indicated that we are not paying anyone, and unless we are only issuing a payment certificate unless someone was on the premises to do investigation. So what happened is they go and then they give a payment certificate. Well, they are happy with the work, but only to find out this year with the request for more money is that you have given a certificate of completion, you were satisfied, and now you have called out a consultant, and that consultant has given indication to say, listen, here was poor shoddy work. So how do you give a certificate? How do you give a certificate of payment? And also there is a trend, in not only this department, I have noticed throughout the country, there's a trend where contractors engage with, in this particular case, with the Department of Public Works, and then there's a delay in payment, and there's a clause within the memorandum of understanding, and we appeal to them. We want to see that clause, and we want to make recommendations to see to what extent we can take that out, because contractors are fully entitled if they are not getting paid, and that is what really make us angry. And your political clause just come out like that. And then if the department pay late, even if the department pay late, in a particular case recently, a contractor has been paid 3 million, but a contractor has been paid late. But there's a clause saying, if you're not happy, if you did not receive your money, if you have been paid late, you are entitled to withdraw from this whole contract. Even down,
But
there
Mr.
is
McGluwa,
goods and services on the premises,
but
you are entitled to charge the department for that money. So somehow, somewhere, there is a syndicate, somehow, somewhere, there is a mafia within the system. And we as a collective must get rid of this.
yes, the point is, you spoke about consequence management earlier. What will that look like? You speak about the contractors. The first contractor, Liber Consulting, 30-month contract. They were the ones who were initially appointed. They were given 168 million rand from the start of April 2014 until October 2016. And they failed to complete. There were cost overruns of 21 million rand. Why was that even allowed to happen, given the amount of money, Mr. McGluwa, that was paid to Liber Construction? And moving ahead, are you going to try and recover some of that money from Liber Construction?
Well, one of the silly things that the department recommend was that we should act. We are not on that premises. Our business is oversight, and rightfully so. Paying a contractor so much money without the work being done, I would say that it is an indictment. And the main thing and the main reasons what these departments are doing, Sakina, is to play with variations. We have an indicator, Some of them are not smart at all. We have targets, and then you'll find when it comes to meeting those targets, it does not satisfy us. But the only way for me, I'm saying, heading the way forward, especially now when we are going to deal with the medium-term budget adjustment, it is important in the meantime that we have to get a clear picture from the minister. We have to get a clear picture on what has transpired, because I think we need a coherent reform approach to deal with officials. The officials, actually, they are the ones that we need to transform. Our country is busy to transform, but I think our officials who find themselves with their hands in the purse of the public, they are the ones. We should deal with the entities. The Department of Sports, Arts and Culture has a responsibility. They have a cause, and that is to deal with wasteful expenditure so that South Africa's money could be spent much better when it comes to the poor, when it comes to the economy, when it comes to fundamental things. There's a fundamental challenge that we have here, and that is the officials that is not transformed. The department, and in this particular case, is the sponsor. The implementing agent, DPSA, the implementing agent, DBSA, those are the ones that should have been monitored. But shifting the monies around in this fashion just transfer the responsibility to someone else. There is no interest from the Department Sport of Arts and Culture to keep these entities responsible. You
Mr.
know, we are
McGluwa, we
having
have
a
to.
meeting later as well with some of these entities. When you read the report, it does not speak to what is happening on the ground down there. Some of these reports, Sakina, if you read it, it reads like you read a horror movie. I think we need an approach where we give consequence management among senior officials.
And we're going to
also,
wait to
we
see,
need
Mr. McGluwa. Unfortunately, we're out of time, but we're going to wait to see exactly how that is tackled because oversight has clearly failed on this particular project. And we're going to wait to see whether anyone is held accountable. But thank you so much for your time, Mr. Joe McGluwa, chairperson of the Portfolio Committee of Sports, Arts and Culture, speaking to us about the state of the Sarah Baartman Centre of Remembrance in Hankey in the Eastern Cape. Just incidentally, the second contractor there was paid $219 million in 2020.